Hey guys, how y'all doing? So before we get into the video, I just want to say to people, thank you for watching all my videos. Liking, commenting, and subscribing helps massively. When you do like, comment, and subscribe, obviously you will then cause my videos to then be recommended more. So when you do that, it's great. And if you aren't subscribed, please subscribe. So we're getting to this video review / look at now. I'm not going to go over everything that's in this book. There's 225 pages. There's a lot. So this book was created by Pickpocket Press. If that name sounds familiar, because we've done reviews on Tales of Argosa, which is also created by Pickpocket Press. This particular book by Pickpocket Press is a collection of adventures originally written for its low fantasy setting, which then got turned into Tales of Argosa. As you can see here, there's some great art, but we're going to go through this, and I'm not going to go through everything. We're going to touch on some of them. As you can see here, it names the adventure, how many characters, the type of site it's at. So if you're working through a different area, you want to have an adventure you can plug in, because these are pretty much drop-in adventures. So some of these could be done in like one 3 or 4 hour session. Some of them might be, or might take a couple sessions to get through. And of course, you can extend these out, which is like you can with pretty much any adventure, depending on player choices and how to deal and what's the real things. So it gives a recommended level for each of them. It goes up to 4 to 7, I think, for most of these. At the highest level, I mean. And it has a reverse dungeon, basically, at the end, at number 22. They call it a flip dungeon, or dungeon flip. That's inspired by AD&D 2nd edition reverse dungeon. We'll just have a quick run down through the book, like I was saying. We'll touch on 2 or 3 of the adventures, talk about them a little bit. So yeah, so the first one is called Call of the Colossus. It's basically a 0 level funnel. If you don't know what a 0 level funnel, it has it right here. It's gonna be an adventure for characters that are for 0 level. So in the Shadowdark core rulebook, you're gonna have rules for creating 0 level characters. And when you play that, and if your character survives, they then become a 1st level character. The idea behind this is it's basically a fun way of having like a character creator, essentially, and it gives your character a background. So you're not coming down writing down paragraphs of blah 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 blah, and then they die 10 minutes later or like 2 hours into a game. So this is how they became who they are and their class. You can easily run this as a level 1 to 2 adventure as well, no problem. You might have to change like some things here or there, but it's not going to be a big deal if you're even slightly experienced DM. Also, throughout this book, you're going to have lots of new creatures and monsters, NPCs and stuff like that, which are going to be great. You can just grab them and plug them into your own game if you like them, if you think they're cool. Lesser gargoyles and stuff like that, for example. And here is sort of like the dungeon in this colossal tower thing. So it goes from the bottom all the way up to number 10. It actually doesn't have a number 2. So it's 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think this is some mislabeling. I downloaded this version on the PDF there a while ago, and my physical copy is like this. So I don't know if this has been updated or not, but I don't think it's a big deal. It's just like the entrance coming up to it, and then here is actually the number 2. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, these adventures in this are great. I've played through a few of them myself for some solo games and stuff like that. I just plugged them in. These are great for, again, to drop-in adventures, essentially. Some of them are only going to be played for 1 game. So if you haven't prepared anything, some people over-prep. You don't need to over-prep for a game. You can kind of roll things up as you go along, but if you want to be a little bit ahead of it, you can do some stuff. But these adventures are great. You can plug them in anywhere, anytime. Like I said, it was originally created for the low fantasy setting. So again, it will plug in very well with Formoria the Dark Age, in my opinion. It works really well with that, because you're not dealing with crazy magic, and when you do have some magic, it's it sort of goes in with the feel that you have with Formoria. At least that's the way I played it. It's quite fun. It's really good. So this one I really like. I played this myself. I've altered the Goblin Dreams. I had a lot of fun with it. I'm not going to spoil anything from the adventures in this book, but we'll go back up to the top again, because it gives you where these take place. Like, you have several that take place in a city. Some are going to be in the hills and underground. So I think there's 4 that take place in the city. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 that take place in a city. We'll have a look at them now, actually. Rooftop Rumble. Now, as you can see, Rooftop Rumble it's a fun, silly adventure. It's meant like it's a Christmas adventure, basically. Baron Krampus. Like, the description here is great. Santa Claus flees across the rooftop. If the party can catch him, he'll fetch a fat bounty. Like, it's jokes and memes. It's fun. Like, if you want, you can make it a bit more serious. You can replace the character. You can do other stuff like that. It's going to be a relatively short adventure. You're going to come across a few different areas that the DM can add some stuff in quite easily, or make it a little more difficult. You're going to have a few fights, and you have sort of the fairy monsters. You have Santa Little Helpers here, which is quite funny. And they look like demonic fairies, basically. So you can see they're not very pretty. That kind of looks like coral almost, I think. But yeah, like I said, we're not going to go into detail on any of these. I'll have a look maybe one more after this, but it's a great book. It's a great book. It's inexpensive as well. As always, I'm going to link where you can get it. It's got ttrpg. I'm going to link the socials as well of Pickpocket Press. Den of Thieves, this is a good one. It's fun. Pretty much all these are fun. You're basically going to have gangs coming against each other, rivals. So it does take place in the city, and it's a great one to introduce into, obviously, your city games. You can play it up more. You can add a little more to it, have some intrigue going on before you get into this sort of adventure itself. Leave hints about some of the characters that are named in this. It has a list of random events. A lot. So again, a lot of this stuff as well can be used and reused for your own games. Like I said, there's lots of creatures. There's going to be IDs you can run. Intel, like it says there, rumors. And you can fairly easily turn like an adventure like this into several games. And even when it's quote unquote resolved, that can still have an ongoing effect in your game, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah, like I said, we're not going to go over everything in this. It's just an idea. It's just for you to get an idea of what's in the book. There's lots of options. Like I said, there's stuff for cities, there's underground, there's hills, everything. I think there's 1 or 2 for swamp. So there's 22 different adventures. They're great. I've played through a couple of these. That's why it took so long for me to actually put this out. I wanted to play it. I didn't want to just get it and be like, oh yeah, I read it. It looks cool. It's fun. I've played a few of them. They are good. They are fun. I like them. Again, I don't want to spoil things or too much. That's. I think I kind of did that a little bit in some of my early videos. But again, these are drop-in adventures. Very easy for anyone to plug into their own games. And we'll have a quick look at the last dungeon. It's called Dungeon Flip. So it's obviously a dungeon. It's a reverse dungeon, as they call it. You're basically going to be having your players play the monsters. The idea of this is to be a one-off game. So maybe if you have your group that normally shows up and maybe 1 or 2 people aren't able to make it and you don't want to play without them, maybe you left it off in an area that's going to require them. You maybe have a big fight coming up and you left the game off because it's going to take too much time to get through, or before you go into a dungeon or something like that. This would be a great thing to plug in, and your players can still play the game, have lots of fun with it, and you're just going to be you're being the bad guys essentially. Here's the setup. To begin, the players will need determining the starting monsters, and the leader determine the politics as how to do all this within the game. Review their copy of the dungeon map because they are the bad guys. You know, they know where everything is. They put in the traps, allocate custom architecture, so you can change things around a little bit. Just with this, of course, you can apply the same principles to any dungeon map, or have them create their own even, you know. It's actually a great outline to teach players how to basically do this. So maybe if players couldn't make it every now and then, or you knew like someone had to do something in like next month, they're not going to show up when you're going to me, maybe you could do another one of these, and you pick a random map. Maybe you get a random online generator, or pick a map that you have from maybe a book like this, or another book like some of the Menagerie Press books. Determine the monsters you want to have, and then you play the bad guys. And then, you know, run through, see if you can get a TPK go on, and you can feel what it's like to be a DM who's an absolute not nice person. Yeah, I like this book. It's great. Steve of Pickpocket Press done a great job with this. Again, it's great for his low fantasy setting. And I believe Menagerie Press helped convert some of this stuff as well into Shadowdark for the stats. Yeah, so there we go, William. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I need to be told how to say this in order to say it correctly. So just going to call William of Menagerie Press. Yeah, he done the conversion for this. He currently has a Kickstarter out as well. I'll probably go over that, just have a look at it, and it's a beast. And if you're a Shadowdark player, you need to get on that. I'll cover that now in the next couple of days probably. But yeah, I recommend this book big time. Again, 22 drop-in adventures. Like, you might only play one of these every now and then, but you have it. So like, this book could last you like a few years. Maybe you don't. Maybe if you're a group that meets once a week, maybe you could play one of these sort of adventures during that week, you know, unless like it's continuing from a previous game. But yeah, like, it has the layout. I mean, the site it takes place in. The first one's in a hills area and underground, and since a lot of this stuff is going to be pretty well detailed in what's in each adventure, and some maps, description of locations. If you're in your own world, you're basically having areas and sites pre-made for you. Then you can come back to them and you can play with them more. Because if you're doing a lot of hex crawl stuff, again, I've said this before in other videos, when you're doing hex crawls, when you go into the same hex, it doesn't mean you're in the same place. Because if you're going with the basic, a hex is 6 miles. That's 6 miles from corner to corner. Just think about 6 miles in an area. How many shops, how many buildings, how many homes, how much empty space is there? You know, think about it like that. So you could have 3, 4, 5 things in a 6x6, in a 6 mile hex. So yeah, that's really it, guys. Like, you can see, you just come across a random page, has some nice little bits of art, NPCs or creatures you can use in your games. Again, it has just cool maps. If you like the map, oh, I like this map, I can use this for my own game. For like another game I have going on, I'll use that map. It's pre-done. I don't need to create anything crazy. There you go. So you can mine this for stuff, or just play the adventure straight out. I played, I think it's 4 days. Yep, well worth it. So yeah, that's it, guys. Like I said, I'll leave a description where you can find this. It'll be available to ttrpg as a PDF and a print on demand. I will link my affiliate link if you want to use that. It's going to help out the channel a little bit, and it helps me to get more stuff so I can show off to you. And if there's anything you want me to look at, you can leave it in the comments. And if I'm able to, I will get onto it as soon as I can. It might take a little while, but I will try and get around to things eventually. I also will link my own socials. It's basically, at the moment, obviously, it's just going to be subscribed to the channel, and I have an X account. So if anyone's on X, you can follow me there. I don't only put out stuff on there for my own channel. I also will read. Is it still called tweet? I don't know. Just say retweet people I know or people I follow, which are other YouTubers, as well as people who create stuff. So it could be people who create games, maybe get stuff you haven't heard of, and maybe get an idea of what I'm probably going to cover in the future at some stage. But yeah, that's me. Again, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to you all again soon.